We're real close, so, I'm acting as chair tonight. Joel is on, but being on Zoom is a little difficult to do with the chair, so I volunteered to do it. Please make Zoom people state their names. Okay.
You gotta love Earl.
We have Joel on Zoom. That's it.
State your name.
State your name.
Oh, do we have anybody else?
There's two more, they need to
more.
turn their cameras on and state their names.
Okay, could you turn your cameras on? There's two other people on Zoom and state your name for the record. Pamela, can you hear me?
I think they're muted. Does it say they're muted? Could you see it? No, she is.
There she goes.
Hi.
Hi,
Oh, we missed her last.
could you state your name for the minutes?
Pamela.
Last name?
Marshall.
Thank you. And then the other one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You got another one on the other side? Looks like Linda.
Linda.
Linda, can you hear me?
Can you unmute her?
You're there, turn your camera on.
Or just your microphone.
Well,
Okay.
can we wait forever or?
No, Cassie's gonna keep a close eye.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, then I'll call the meeting to order, and first order of business is pledge allegiance. Everybody join in. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda review, start with Christina.
I don't have anything to add.
I'm good.
You good?
Thank you.
What's up?
I'm all set. How about you, Nick?
I'm all set.
Steve, good. Brian?
I got two things. We will have a report, it's in the packet, from the town health officer on a case that she's got. And then I will need the board to go into executive session on a legal matter that was brought to my attention this morning.
Okay. All right.
I don't have anything.
You don't have it? Oh. Just holler. Oh, just holler. Okay. All right, the next thing would be the minutes. And we have the regular meeting of October 7th, 2025. You move, Steve?
Second.
We have the motion moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Public comments for anything that's not on the agenda.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you. Okay, do we wanna do law enforcement or do we wanna move right into the joint meeting?
Whatever you'd like.
Well-
Go right to the joint meeting.
Good idea, just move in the joint meeting, right, Joe? Cause everybody's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna start this meeting with the trustees, and we have an agenda here. A is discussion of local option tax, and of course, the big issue is revenue split.
I think we need to open the meeting on our end.
What's that?
We need to open the meeting on our
Oh,
end.
okay, all right.
Alright. We need to open the meeting for a village to join the town in this public joint meeting discussion about the LOT. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Motion carried, thank you.
So, apparently nothing happened in the legislative session that changed anything, but I guess we've decided that we probably could go ahead and do this ourselves anyways, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, first of all, the legislature this is in the first year of the biennium, they didn't do anything. There's always the second year, so there's still hope. But I did do some research as to what we have to do. And there's a couple of things that are a lot easier than it was when we first started talking about this. We do not need a charter provision any longer. It's just the vote of the people that would authorize the select board to have a local option tax.
So the town doesn't have to create a charter.
No.
Okay.
And then Act 57 of 2025 also changed the approachment of LOT receipts from municipalities in the payment in lieu of tax fund. So it used to be 30% that the state would take of the 1%. They've now reduced that to 25%, so we would get to keep 75% of the proceeds. We have the option, and this is, I would suggest, if you put this onto the ballot, it would be on everything. 1% local option tax on sales, in addition to the state's 6% tax rate. 1% local option tax on meals and alcoholic beverages. And a 1% local option tax on rooms, in addition to the state's 9% rooms tax. For example, local option tax applies only to sales of items that are subject to the Vermont sales tax. Okay, they're not going to charge anything else. This does not apply to the sale or rental of motor vehicles that are subject to the purchase and use tax under the motor vehicle law. So each municipality, where does it begin? Municipal officials should consult with residents and businesses owners to ascertain the benefits and consequences of adopting the LOT. Then prior to adopting the LOT, officials should consider seeking legal or other tax professionals as well as other Vermont municipalities that have considered adopting LOTs. The Vermont Department of Taxes do not provide legal opinions or tax advice to individual corporations. So how does it work? Well, the legislative body, such as the select board, has to recommend the local option tax by a majority vote of the board. At either the annual meeting or a special meeting called for that purpose, the majority of the municipality voters that attended the meeting must approve the local option tax. And then the municipality must give the Department of Taxes at least 90 days notice before the quarter start date of a newly effective local option tax. So in other words, if the town meeting is going to be held on March 4th, it's on the ballot, it passes, we have to notify the Department of Taxes by March 31st, the last day of the first quarter, that we have chosen to start assessing an LOT. The earliest effective date of the new LOT would be the start of the third quarter of July 1st. That'll give them the time to notify everybody and that the businesses can update their computer systems, et cetera, to collect that extra 1%. The local charter change and approval is not required. Can you adopt this at any time? Yes, as long as you go through the same steps. Now, how's it administered? Well, when we vote it through, if it's approved, all business authorized to collect the taxes are required to collect from the customers and pay to the Vermont Department of Taxes all LOTs for the applicable sales that occur in and are delivered to the participating municipality. As part of the review process, the department verifies the businesses have collected and paid LOT correctly. The department's costs of administration and collection are covered on a per return basis. The fee is $5.96 per return per town and is deducted from the LOT collected in 75%. After retaining the fee, the department sends 75% of the lot collected to the municipality on a quarterly basis. So we would start getting, each quarter, we'd start getting the payment. And the remaining 25% is sent to the pilot fund. What's the effect on businesses and individual? Local option tax is a destination-based tax, meaning it's based on the location where the purchaser takes possession. So once implemented, the business must charge the LOT on taxable purchases completed with the municipality when the LOT is in effect, or when a taxable item is delivered to a customer within the municipality with an LOT in effect. So, if somebody goes to a local business, buys an item that is subject to the LOT, but that business delivers it to the town of Highgate that does not have an LOT, there is no LOT charged on that item. If that same customer brings down their own truck from Highgate and takes the item, if they're in Swanton, they're taking possession of the item, they pay the LOT. And of course, it applies to mail orders, stuff that's delivered.
So if
to
a mail
people.
order, or so if a local business was, had other clients outside of the area, say they were shipping things to Florida or out of state, they would not be.
They would not, they'd have to pay that state's sales taxes or whatever may be required in whatever state they're in. And then obviously a visitor visiting a hotel or bed and breakfast in Swanton would have to, regardless of where they came from, they have to pay that tax. And then on all sales of meals here in Swanton, as well as the alcohol that's consumed. So, and then if you ever wanted to repeal it, the voters of the municipality may repeal the local option tax at an annual meeting or special meeting warned for that purpose. And it's going to be by the majority of those present and voting. And so one of the following has to initiate the municipal vote. The majority legislative body decides to warn it, or a petition of 10% of the municipality's voters to make a recommendation to repeal the law. In the handouts we've given you guys, there's various sections of law that would pertain. Now, I had prepared, actually Christina prepared earlier last year, and I added to this. I have a spreadsheet here. These are the sales from this tax department report for the town of Swanton. And I call your attention to the first line. You have your sales of $35,767,891 for sales. Meals of $8,484,665 for a total of $44,252,556. Based on those numbers, the LOT collected would be $442,526. The net would be $331,894, and then you see the split, town village. Now, this is the area of discussion. I'm using the same split of the grand list that we presently do, which I think is 2377, I believe it was. So out of on a yearly basis, last year, the town would get $255,559, and the village gets $76,336. These are raw numbers, but the 2025 year-to-date numbers are just very preliminary in there. It was very difficult to try to draw those out. I will say there's been a significant increase thus far year-to-date in the rooms and meals in Swanton. And I think we probably know what's contributing to that, which is a good thing. And but the so with that, you know, it's, and then the other years you can see there was an increase in overall sales from 2003 to 2004, and we just, you know, try to get in and analyze where all that's coming from is not really probably where we just know that that's coming. And some years it could go down. That's very possible. If you get a drop in the economy or whatever, it could go down, but you know, chances are that I don't know. I've done research. I have not found any town that has repealed it once they've put it in place.
Ron, I got a question for you. For
Yeah.
the sales, did they have any feedback on the retail online for internet sales?
No, this is
What?
all one shop, just sales.
Just sales, they don't track it.
They track it, well, they know which businesses give them what for sales.
If you're buying off of Amazon, you're buying off of anything on the internet, it's all
Right.
tracked by a zip code.
Right, that's
Can't
right.
track it.
They track it. They do not release those numbers.
They don't release those numbers, so we
That's
don't know
confidential.
how
Right.
big of the retail online
That's right.
is.
Yeah, that's confidential, because then you could say, well, you know,
She's spending too much money on Amazon.
yeah, or this business is.
No, not necessarily defined
Yeah.
by Amazon, but just
Right,
by
but
internet
just
sales in general.
Internet
Yeah.
sales in general, just flat out don't.
Non-local businesses that are competing with the
Right.
local businesses.
Right, they don't.
Right,
that's
which is the
not-
big hidden benefit of the LOT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Right, so these numbers that you're tracking here are just numbers of physical businesses that are in the town of Swanton.
No, that's everything,
That's everything.
that's everything.
That's not local businesses.
That's
I would say local
anything
businesses might
collected
be border of
with
that.
a Swanton zip code or
Yeah.
geo-tracking, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And could they identify the sources of the taxes? I think you kind of hit that. But say we wanted to know from each individual business in Swanton what they contributed to the taxes.
They will not release that.
They will not
information.
release
That's
that.
confidential under state law.
Okay.
Well, the one question I got, because, you know, I mean, it's a tax and people don't like taxes. I don't think anybody in this room does, but, if that, tax is in place, oh, I forgot what I was gonna ask you now, but, how much of the tax comes, is there any kind of idea where they've done, it's been in place for, you know, been around a long time? How much is coming from outside a typical town versus has coming from the inside? There's probably no way of knowing that.
They
I know.
won't give us that information.
They won't give
right?
us that information, but I mean, if you look at the reports that the state puts out, you can see, like the town of St. Albans is like 89 or 90 million dollars just in retail sales. So, you know, they've got a lot of retail activity.
Yeah.
And if you looked at places like Williston, that's really up there. So, the places with the big brick and mortar places, typically you would expect that, but with the addition of now being able to tax internet sales and mail order is just gives everybody a little bit more even space and get in on a piece of the pie.
Yeah, but I'm saying, would it be 25, 30% of the total tax in a typical community like ours would come from people that don't live in the community?
That's really hard to tell.
So they've never done any kind of analysis on
I
that.
don't think they ever really did. I would say the bulk of this would, well,
Joel would like to speak.
yeah.
When you guys are done,
Okay.
so,
I'd say certainly probably for the, you know, the meals, if you were to take a guess, your meals and alcohol is probably like 50-50, maybe even a little bit more out of town people. Your totals, and there are reports that come out on a monthly basis, they'll show a month. And so when, in the summertime, I mean, obviously there's a lot of people who are coming through the area that are paying, and that's, you know, they don't live here, but they're paying. So that should show an increase for the summers.
So 30% might be quite conservative.
Yeah, could be, you know, it's hard to say, you know, but.
All right, Joe?
okay, earlier, Brian, and I didn't quite hear about the public meeting, because I had made a note earlier today that we certainly would, I think, should have a public hearing for businesses and the community that have any concerns to come talk to us and express those. But what did you say has to take place at that meeting?
Well, the public meeting, a special meeting, basically, if it's you could have a public hearing just to explain it, and the pros and cons. But the actual meeting of where the board is going to adopt it and send it to the voters for approval, you do that at a regular select board meeting when you would approve the warning.
Right, but, okay. So I'm thinking by the end of November, we should have a public hearing if we're gonna go ahead with this, because we need to get the word out and have the discussion take place. I think all of us probably got an email today from, one business who's got some concerns, and get the public to chime in. And then one thing I'm gonna suggest is after that public hearing, if the trustees in the town still want to go ahead with this, I think there should be an agreement signed between the two bodies on what this is. And really, I think what we're saying, and I want to make sure the trustees are on board, that it's only going to be the one tax, right? I mean, that's the plan I think we talked about, and so on, and that should be in the agreement, how to split it. And then, and I think Brian just described what has to happen if it needs to be terminated, but there should be something in our agreement between the two bodies on termination, not just the voters themselves, but some way that the two bodies, if there is an issue, which I don't see it, but the body makeup changes over time, that there's something in there. But I think that's something we should be drafting up in preparation for going forward. I really want to see the voters seeing us as the town and the village with an agreement that this is something we think is good for the community, the broad community of Swanton. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
So on that note, I've done a lot of homework. I've also received a lot of information or questions. So I just put together some of my thoughts for everybody. It's a 2-page package. I just want to hand them down. And some for the trustees. I think I have enough. 1, 2, 3. There's one to Bill. David. Sorry. And I did forward this to you, Joel, so you can look at it electronically. This is a lot of.
Thank you.
This is a lot about Swanton shared future, and as we, here is presented as a split, but I think we have an opportunity to work together with that one Swanton model and propose something that where we could come together and have a capital investment fund for the use of this money that could benefit town and village projects equally. And so these are just my thoughts and ideas on a way that we could do it. And draft, like Joel said, drafting a memorandum of understanding, really outlining what that looks like. And of course, it would be us putting the work in and coming together more regularly for advisory panels, so we can have the discussions as a group, and then bring them back to our respective boards, and then we can meet respectively like this. But I think this is a really big opportunity for our community to generate extra revenue outside of property taxes.
I think that's the key component I hear from the community, is they really want something that's gonna give them property tax relief. Over and over, the only way we ever seem to fund anything is through property taxes. And a lot of investments going into downtown and businesses. And as far as like traffic sales going through the artery of 78, coming through the community, like meals alone, we know that McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Subway, all these, you've seen the differences in prices in the last couple of years. So the taxes that are being collected on those services and those goods, they're from some of the local people as well, but a large amount of it is just from people passing through. You see buses after buses stopping at Dunkin' Donuts and at McDonald's, especially during the tourist season. So that's a big part of it. And as far as like the hidden part of retail sales is definitely the internet. And so you have all these retail businesses that are competing with the local businesses that really aren't contributing on a local level like the local businesses do. So it would be great to capitalize on some of that and take that pressure off of property taxes being the only way that we can afford improvements in the community. And it is an option tax, but I think it's what the people really wanna see, is some kind of property tax relief, and this is really what it is.
Well, and I think it's a great way for us to put some money towards the things that we share jointly, you know?
Yep.
The parks, the greenscapes, the promoting of our community, all of our facilities, you know, this is town hall, but everybody in the village is part of the town, so this is a space that everybody uses, the municipal complex, the downtown area, streetscaping. You know, even if you live in the far reaches of the town, you still come to Swanton to conduct business.
Yeah. And I don't think there's been a community that has repealed it after they've taken it on. I don't know any about thing for sure, but I haven't heard of that.
I haven't heard of it.
And it's worked really well for St. Albans, and as far as, like you said, well, you said earlier, Brian, that the legislature has cleaned this up. It's just literally up to the voters to decide if they wanna try it or not. And they definitely can back out of it if they don't feel it works. But it seems like it's definitely worth the effort, and it's definitely what I hear from the community, is they want another option.
So Nicole, are you proposing that there's a one investment fund run by, let's say, the town?
The town would be the fiscal agent in this case, because it's coming into the town.
Right, so it's run by town treasurer, however, it's run by Kathy, let's just say. And then we form a board with reps, like two of you guys, one of us.
Correct.
And then we're the advisory board for what we, I'm not saying we, maybe the town, decide what are the improvements that are going to be made into the areas that are jointly enjoyed by Swantonians.
Whatever's outlined in the specific guidelines of the, what am I calling it, the capital investment fund. So I think there needs to be parameters as that's how we have to present it to the
There's
taxpayers.
like sidewalks, lights.
Correct.
The street thing that we're doing down here, the bridge, yes, you want to say
Well, I
something.
just wanna clarify something that, I'm not sure, but I think it is. We can't actually spend that money, we have to have voter approval to spend it on something, don't we?
Correct. Yeah. The voters actually do need to decide what they want.
So, I mean, this panel could recommend projects, but the voters would have to approve them.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Read it in this.
I didn't read that.
I didn't read it in this.
I don't know if that's true, but
Yeah.
it is it, or it is, I've heard that.
Okay, if it's being used for
Wait.
capital and
Go ahead.
no, I think it didn't say that specifically in there, and there's nothing that I could see in the law. I think from a standpoint of, you've got this pot of money reserved for capital use, and then you still probably should put it to a vote, this is how you're gonna pay for it over so many, especially if it's gonna go over so many years.
Yeah.
You may have to go.
I think if it's gonna get voter approval, I think the voters are gonna wanna have some say about how it's going.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something to really seriously consider, because, you know,
The other,
we do need things, but, you know, if we're gonna nickel and dime it through the course of a year, you know, for a little bit here and there, we won't, it really needs to be there. If it's gonna affect the tax rate and keep a stabilized tax rate, that's the best way to do it.
and the other thing is to think about maybe putting a spending limit on it, because there's some things that maybe you want to do that you can't wait till March for the voters to say, yeah, that's okay. So if there's like a cap of say 150,000 or whatever, that we can, I'm just throwing numbers
Yeah,
out,
okay.
Earl,
Yeah.
I'm not sold on
Yeah.
it. That we can say, okay, this portion of doing Church Street it costs $86,000. Yeah, we see that as a good investment, we're gonna do that, and not have to wait until the next town meeting day to have momentum to move on things, because when it comes down to it, it's about doing what's good for our community, and if we as the elected leaders, then can't be trusted to do what is right for the town, then they should vote new leaders in, I guess, because I feel like you're entrusting me to do what's right, I'm trying to do what's right, and that's making improvements to the area that we all live in Sharon. And so I think that there should be a limit, like, this is the amount, and the two bodies would come together and agree, this is the amount, or put it out to the voters, what do you think? I mean, we don't have it yet, so it's
Right.
plenty of time to say, what do you think is too much for us to spend without asking you?
Or you'd have a discretionary level, you'd have a discretionary level built into
Yes.
the total. But, just two questions. Brian, this has to be voted on by the select board, does it also have to be approved by the trustees?
No.
No. The only reason why we're here is to say that if you guys enact this, we will not enact an additional 1%.
I'm glad you're here, I just had a question, that's all.
Yeah, so we're just saying, we're not gonna enact an additional 1% tax in the village, because, I mean, as a governing body, we could do that, but we don't wanna do that to people. If we're willing to share the 1% that you guys get.
So, hold on a minute.
Joel
Yeah,
has a
discretionary limit, that would maybe help address your issue,
Yeah.
The other thing, I wanna make sure we don't commingle these funds with other monies that come into the state, that come into the town. Because this is a single source of funding, let's keep it pure.
Sure.
You're talking about a committee, which makes good sense.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't wanna commingle it with any other funds.
I think Joel was first, so I'll go to him.
Go ahead, Joe.
Nicole, that's a lot of information, so I haven't had a chance to really comb all through it. But I am thinking it is gonna get too complicated if we create a board that is a combination of the two, and we kind of manage the money as a combination of the two. I think at the onset, when we started this, that we were gonna split the money, and the village sets their priorities for what they plan to use the money for. And we certainly would take input from the village, because for us, that money, that percentage we keep is for some of the things that the town does that everybody gets a benefit from. But I am not a big fan of creating too much of a bureaucracy to manage this money. And then if we start getting clashes on how it's going to be used, it's going to create some issues between the village and the town. The advisory board recommends this. Let's say the village trustees think it's a great idea, the town not so great, and then where do we go? We could create a whole bureaucracy just to manage these funds, and I am not really interested in that. I don't know how other board members feel, but I think when we originally started going down this trail, not a hole, the idea was to split the money and let each group handle it accordingly. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Well,
Wholeheartedly agree with you, Joel.
Either way works for me.
Bob,
go ahead.
I think that setting up a commission, I think we gotta focus on getting the tax passed first. And then if we set up a commission or something to manage the money, that's something we could probably discuss after. I don't think we need to have that plan right off the bat.
I think if you're gonna get people to see the benefit of voting for a tax, we wanna have some idea. We wanna have a clear plan of what we're gonna do with it,
Yeah, how we're gonna allocate.
Plan.
before we even ask them to vote for it.
And another thing, a question I had was, using the grand list, that would be to decide how to split it between the town and the village.
Yeah.
And the grand list would be the voter registration, correct? Or- No,
Grand
it's the tax list, the tax list.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And I guess the question comes, is that an acceptable division of funds?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is.
Isn't that the same way
It
we
should be.
split the fire department?
Fire department.
Correct,
It should be,
so
okay,
that
that's-
sounds fair.
I just wanna make sure we don't end up with a big impediment before we get started. Okay,
Right.
that's good.
Another thing that was discussed, I think last meeting was, online sales, the 05488 zip code would be some places in Highgate and whatnot.
But
Yeah,
that, by geocoding, they're supposed to be able to tell that from the address, the actual street address used. Because
okay,
I did ask them, when they said, well, we geocode.
Okay.
So we know.
So they
there is a
figured
way
that
to-
out, like, cause there was some snafu with
There
like,
was certainly some snafu.
Tractor Supply there
Tractor
for a little
Supply,
while.
yes, but, yeah.
Well, I wanna get back to what Nicole brought here. It is a lot, I agree with Joe, but part of, there is a good point here, you know, when it comes to, recreation, which is something that, you know, is town and village, you know, if we're gonna do recreation, everybody benefits from it. There ain't no sense of the village having a separate recreation and the town having a separate. Yeah, but there are a lot of things we, you know, that we'd like to do in the future, and it might be, some way, and they do include property that belongs to the village. But, you know, they do need improvements if we're gonna be totally utilized the way they potentially could be.
Yeah.
So, that's something we need to consider, that maybe a portion of this money ought to be set aside specifically for parks and recreation, so we can keep those things. Because it, you know, just what's happened here with the beautification committee, and what, you know, these kind of little things make a lot of difference in how people feel about the community they live in.
I like where you're going with it, but I would wanna see all their numbers first.
Yeah.
My numbers all the time.
I mean, in the end, whatever either side does, the entire Swanton enjoys,
Yes.
no matter what.
Yeah.
It benefits no matter
Yeah,
what.
I just, you know, I agree with you. I think, you know, I think setting aside a small portion for things like parks and recreation is beneficial. But we need to make sure that, you know, the funds that Parks and Recreation has
Well,
is at least acceptable at this point, or if it's short, then we know what to do.
well, the town has the rec and we have the parks, and we'd
Yeah.
like to make a
Park and
parks and
recreation.
recs, so
Yeah.
that we're
Yeah,
working together. I'm sorry, Joel.
yeah, no, that's fine, I agree, right now you have certain facilities related to recreation, and you have the budget, and if you get 80,000 or whatever it is a year, something you can decide what you use that money for. And then on the other hand, the amount that we get, we decide, and if we wanna set a certain amount for recreation, that's great. Or if there's a certain project we wanna do that benefits recreation, we take it to the voters, if it's gonna be several years to do it. But again, I think we gotta be careful here of how, and making sure we don't make this too complicated, especially getting this through to the voters. We should keep it pretty straightforward right now, I think, on how we plan to do this. We can have meetings after of how we, and maybe stack some of that money in certain areas, but if we get too crazy on how we manage it, I don't think the voters are gonna like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. If we come there with a big stack of paper and they go, read this and vote for it, I don't think that's gonna work. You're gonna need to break it down pretty simply.
I mean, it seems like we have a perfect solution to how we're gonna divvy up the money. And two, both boards can convene, or if the voters decide that they're putting this basically towards community improvement projects, it sounds like, right? So, and the community decides that all these projects, whether they're downtown, park, out, whatever, are all better for the improvement of Swanton together. That, you know, the percentage of what comes from each piece of the pie can be put towards those projects. If they decide they wanna focus on downtown, they decide they wanna focus on something else, they will decide, but how we do it, the percentages could be based on the property tax allocation.
Can somebody tell me, is the only thing we're allowed to spend the money on is capital improvement projects?
I think so.
Okay.
No, there's some that use it just to reduce their
Property tax.
property taxes. Not so sure if, you know, nothing against property tax reduction, but you certainly don't wanna fund programs other
Right.
than maybe capital improvement, but it's fund other programs, because if something should dry up after the program,
Right,
so
right.
you have
Okay.
to, but capital improvement seems to be the
Safest
preferred,
bet.
safest bet.
Okay.
And ultimately, that's property tax relief.
Yeah,
I think,
it is, yeah.
If you put all the money into reducing property taxes, you're not gonna have anything for the capital improvements.
Right.
You're gonna get one or the other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that putting it towards capital improvements means reducing property tax dependency to pay for the capital improvements.
Yeah, but what he was saying is that some towns actually say, okay, we're getting $73,000 and we're gonna take that off from the property taxes, not using it to, yeah.
Now, if you have
So-
accumulated funds, I noticed in the warning of this past town meeting of the town of St. Albans, they used $500,000 to reduce property taxes.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from.
And they asked for voter approval to do that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but, they had $500,000.
All right, Steve has something he wants to
I
say.
think the city might have used part of that fund for debt service. And I think we want
For what?
to, debt service on, say we had to borrow money for some particular need. We could use this cash flow to service that debt.
Okay, is that also the cash flow that the city's using to purchase properties that they then like rehab and
I don't
give
know.
out?
Yeah, that I don't know really.
That's our, okay.
So we
Thank you.
we could leverage this, we could take this tax money if we had to borrow money, which would bring in more capital, more improvements, and use these funds to make the payments, or part of the payments. So I think there's a great leveraging opportunity for us at the same time.
Gotcha.
But I think the question now is the meeting, so that we could talk to the public about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems like everybody's in agreement here that we're gonna go with the grand list and divide it.
That's big, that was the biggest obstacle, I
Okay.
think.
Are we gonna create, I guess the next question, and that would be between, that would be a question for their board, that they decide amongst themselves, and a question for this board to decide amongst ourselves, the way we're setting it up right now, are we gonna do a capital improvement fund, or?
Well, you've heard me speak out numerous times.
Yeah.
I never want to use this money for operating expenses,
I agree.
ever. I agree. I think we have to be very clear right up front.
Yeah.
If we want to take a chunk and reduce taxes, that's fine. That kind of is a backdoor approach to reducing,
Yeah.
covering operating expenses, but let's stay focused strictly on capital improvements.
What's your thoughts, Joel?
To not be used as, to buy down operating expenses. There are so many things we could do for capital improvements. One we don't even talk about is at some point, we're gonna have to maintain that bridge that goes across that river. And there's gonna be a big price tag on that. And besides maintaining our buildings, whether we expand, and I'm a big fan of trying to expand recreation, but to me, this should all go toward capital improvements. And as a board, we decide how we do that and then take it to the taxpayers for their approval.
Even if we were making improvements on the recreation side, that's a capital improvement too, so it could still come out of that fund if everybody agreed to do it.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And I think, I think we're pretty much in agreement, and I think we as the town select board, could entertain a motion right now, and that's the way we see this going forward, and then the village doing the same thing. Then we set up a public hearing, and we go from there.
Yeah, I'm willing to go as far as to set up a public hearing, tonight. I don't know if I wanna act, do you want the board to take a motion to plan on bringing it for the public to adopt, or do you wanna wait till the public hearing?
I think we should.
I think tonight we should walk away in agreement with a motion that we want to proceed going down the road of getting a local option tax, splitting it with the village using the grand list, and that the town would use that money for capital improvements. I think those are the basic things that if we go into a public hearing, we need to be talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, can I ask this question? Does anybody know, can we decide to put percentages of this capital, say that the bridge needs to be done in 10 years, that people could trickle money into a high interest bearing account, and we could trickle funds and that could accumulate into a kind of an endowment type of process. So
I'm talking the bridge that goes for the
The
yeah, I understand that.
Okay, but that to me, that's a town taking a look at the capital improvements and all the other facilities and coming up with the order that we try to get the money to take care of those needs. I don't think we want to get into that discussion at a public hearing, just trying to get this local option tax passed. We could have a list,
Yeah.
we could have a list of things, but not to get priorities going or any other discussion, just putting out some general things that we think that money could be used for.
Yeah, I think the point was just to try to help voters know that this is a way we could fund some of these things without just doing property taxes. And that's something that might be able to sell it to.
Well, that comes out at the meeting. That'll come out at the meeting. If you're looking for a motion to move forward on this, I'd make that motion.
You move forward with this, the public hearing?
No, I would move forward, I'd make a motion that the select board endorse the LOT.
Okay,
Okay, the installation, or what do you wanna call it, the LOT. And then after we make that motion, then we can talk about the meetings and the information meetings. And I think what Nicole did here is a good start. We may go with some of these, move some one side, add some, I think we gotta have something to start with, so we got something.
well, we did wanna try to get the, revenue sharing between the town and the village in that too, cause that's what we're all
I'll make
agreeing
that
to.
motion then, that we move forward with the local option tax, with the distribution of funds based on the grand list.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
all right, motion been made and seconded, is there more discussion?
I would like to add to that about the money going to the capital funds.
Okay, you wanna add, is that
Yeah,
okay,
that's-
Steve?
yeah.
That's what I would
That's
like
fine.
to, but
Yeah,
Sure.
I
That's
don't
fine.
know whether the rest of the board agrees to make that as amendment.
no, I would tonight do that,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
that's
commit
fine.
that money to anything else right now.
Yeah, I don't think we can commit to anything else at the moment.
What's that?
I don't think we should commit it to anything else at the moment. I agree with it.
Should
So
we,
are we gonna amend the motion?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
okay,
should we include a percentage on that revenue split, or just,
Yeah, I said follow the.
Grand list.
The grand list.
yeah, that's in there, grand list, and now, we have the other one too, so we're all set now, is there any more discussion? All right, I'll call the vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Motion carried.
Good job.
Can we pull out of the joint meeting now?
Well, no, we got more stuff.
We got more stuff.
But-
Earl,
Yeah, I ain't moving on yet, go ahead, Joe.
sorry, but, is the village, gonna vote and maybe agree on that same, principle tonight?
Just understand it's non-binding, village, you really have no say.
Yeah, we don't
I
have
was
any
gonna
say in
it's not-
town.
The only thing, the only motion I think that we should make as a village is that we will not enact a 1% LOT. I think that's the only motion we should be making, because
I think the other thing that,
Because we have no say in your LOT, that's you're the governing body of the town, that's yours. Us, the governing body of the village, we should be saying right now that we will not enact a 1% LOT.
yes, and also that you agree with the funding, the distribution.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you should agree with the distribution,
Yeah.
but that's up to you.
okay, so,
And while we're at this, could
yes,
we
sir.
have some kind of an expression of support, maybe not tonight, but from the village? I think it would go a long way when we have our information meetings if we said the village has issued an expression of support
I
for
think we
the
should
action.
have those meetings together.
I would say together.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, sure, whatever.
So I'll make a motion that we, as the village trustees, will not enact a LOT in the village, and that we are okay with the division split proposed by the town.
the only thing I can add to that is what if it doesn't pass by the town? And the town, village decides to do it?
It's still,
Right now, we're saying that we won't do it no matter what. Is that my understanding correct?
So, yes, that's what you're saying, but you could
Yeah.
say, effective for town meeting 2020. I
Yeah.
mean,
alright,
In
so-
support of the town passing,
Right, in
Yeah.
support of the town passing, you will not.
and then it goes.
Then, down the road, if it fails in the town, the village could bring it up.
Bring it back up,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I will amend my motion to be in support of the town of Swanton passing an LOT. We, the village, will not pass an LOT for town meeting 2026.
And then.
And then we agree with the division split
Yes.
proposed by the town.
No, second.
All right, we have a first and a second to agree to not enact an LOT on top of the town passing the LOT and for 2026.
Yep.
All in favor?
Agree on the split.
And then we
And agree on the split based on the tax
Based on a grade one.
ranges. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Hey, Nicole, is it okay to date this today when we received it? There's no date on here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So, do we wanna continue the discussion, or we're pretty much done? I guess we're done,
Yeah,
Done for now.
I think the only thing left to do is to set up
Set up a
a
date.
joint meeting, joint informational meeting where we explain the LOT to the voters and allow business, you know, people and voters to express their.
well, it's
concerns.
November, we should probably be picking a night tonight.
It's November, it's October.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be November, pretty soon. It's not
The next
much-
30 days anyway. right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know what kind of date would, any suggestions, Joe?
I'd say give us, at least past our first meeting,
what,
if we wanna have some more discussion ourselves, but,
Yeah,
somewhere between the, first and second meeting, or
Yeah.
a week of our second meeting,
What?
made my recommendation.
Do we have to give 30 days notice on this?
what?
Do we have to give 30 days notice to the taxpayers?
Not for a public hearing, I don't think, no.
No, and I don't, I think they really would for a public hearing on you guys.
do we wanna do a
So what date did you
special
get there,
meeting
Ken?
on
If you're doing the second
12th?
week, it's be the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, or 14th.
No, the 11th, that's a holiday.
Oh, yeah, right.
How about the 12th, you can do it at the complex.
Yeah, that's a Wednesday,
Yep, Wednesday, November 12th.
Wednesday the 12th?
do we wanna meet together at either the village or town meeting before then?
Well, we're gonna have our select board meeting on the, 4th. So, if you wanted to, schedule another joint meeting, we can.
No, I think the purpose of having that meeting is that we're both in the same place at
Yeah.
the same time. You'll have discussed it amongst yourselves,
Yeah.
we'll have discussed it amongst ourselves, and then we'll come together.
So,
Do you have a meeting before the?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
So-
for the 12th, is your hall gonna be available in case we get a big crowd?
yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Okay, so that's where it will be on the 12th.
at the, minute,
What time would you like that?
6.
6 o'clock?
6:30 probably, cause it's a public hearing,
Oh, good point, 6:30.
Okay.
6:30?
maybe even 7, but, you know, I'm getting old, I don't like to stay up too late, but. If the majority want 7, I'll go with it, because I wanna be fair to the public.
We'll get you some no-dos.
Okay, good idea.
It's probably not a bad idea, let them go home to dinner and come back.
So where are we, midnight by this time? What are we, 6, 7? What is it?
Do 7.
7.
7? Yeah, okay, I'll live with it.
Okay.
That good with you, Joe?
Sound good?
Okay.
Let's get her done.
Yeah, I don't know if
What's
there's
your next
any,
item?
Next
I
item.
don't have the agenda in front of me, we got another item to with the village, right?
We have law enforcement.
yeah, we got law enforcement.
Did you wanna do the promote Swanton before?
Yes, we can do that too, I think it kinda ties into this discussion quite a bit that we just had. So, I'm gonna, Nicole, I know you prepared some stuff,
You like to talk about it more.
but I guess we were gonna, we've got something back from EcoPixel, which, we got the pictures out to you guys and stuff, and basically they've got ready to go now. We think we need a little bit more input on the pictures, especially the lead-in picture. That seems like we could do better, because I think we got some better ones than that. And maybe possibly we wanna put 3 pictures together on that type of thing. Because we got a lot here in Swanton, if you look at the pictures. So, and I wanted to get your opinions of that too, you know? I don't think one picture necessarily represents all of Swanton. And we've got some really good ones.
No, yeah, definitely for sure, I think,
We got better ones, I think, of the village than the one that's, you know, in that, proposal.
yeah, I was gonna say, we sent him out to what, 4 different locations?
Yeah.
Was it 3 or 4?
I think it was 5, actually.
Hog Island Village.
Greens Corners, the
Corners.
Village, Hog Island,
Yeah.
the Southern Growth
That's right,
District,
Southern Growth District.
and
So,
the Quam Shore.
so I was thinking that because basically when we were talking, we found that was like the 5 areas of Swanton that we should be able to have 5 pictures that represent each area, kind of, because each area is different, right? Like the Mapam's different than the Southern Growth is different than the Village, different than
Yeah,
Green Corners. So
yeah.
I think if we did 5 images on that landing page, that would kind of be more encompassing, because like we keep saying, it's more than just the swamps, it's more than just the
Right.
downtown.
Right.
We're so much more
Yeah.
than all of that, and to add more pictures, I think would add more of a slice of life.
And part of wanting to have the discussion with you folks is because this would be a change to our joint website. So we want to make sure that everybody's on board with that. But some of the other things that we are looking to do with Promote Swanton is having a brochure for people to pick up at the terminus or other locations around town to make sure that they can have a good understanding of everything. And I'm sure you've all seen this before at one point in time, because I keep dropping them to you every time I see you. But, you know, making sure that you guys feel well represented in this as well. And one of the other things that we talked about is sending out a mailer to, and this is just really big so everybody could see it, sending out a half-size mailer to all of the residents in town to let them know about the changes to our website, to allow them to know about our initiative on promoting the community, and also to give them that feel-good community pride to see all the things that we've worked really hard. I can't tell you enough, you know, we've worked on this logo for town, and on my birthday, I got to drive up into the village and saw it on the sign at the VFW, and it was so cool to see that, and I was so proud to be in Swanton that day. These are ways I think that we can continue to share that pride with all of our community, and those that are just now visiting our community. Earl and I put a lot of legwork into going out to all of the businesses, and we haven't really met many folks that aren't excited about a business directory on our website, which is hopefully gonna go live, soon. But we wanna make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to see it. And then those folks that are coming into the brand new LVRT terminus, you know, we wanna make sure that they have a really nice map of our downtown that they can see when they're coming in, be able to have a QR code and be able to see some of those great places that you need to visit while you're here, so you can get that experience. And as we move forward, this is something that our group has talked about, preparing a line item in the annual budget that we can continue, because this isn't just a one-time deal, this is something that we continually have to work at, to continue to keep not only our community relevant, but to, you know, as things grow here, we want to make sure that we're sharing all of those things the right way.
So I got a question, those pictures, so I take it when people log on to the home page for this stuff, are those pictures like slowly scrolling in the background or something as they search for things in the community?
Right now, they could be, the drone footage, each page has a different picture, so you'd have to go to all the pages to see all the great pictures. Like Susie said, we talked about like a bar having all of the different views of Swanton, so maybe making it, you know, 5 pictures in one. Earl and I had discussed maybe having it be a reel and having a video, so the longer you stay on the page, the more you get to view of the community. And we're gonna meet again with the website developer But one of the things that we're also gonna talk about is, you know, we spent the money to get the sign, to do some branding, to make sure that we're staying consistent across the board. You know, we wanna make sure that we can continue to add those to our website, and that those are, again, things that are not just representing the town of Swanton, but also represent the village of Swanton, as we are all one Swanton,
Yeah.
one
I
community.
just wanna add, I just wanna add,
People look for Swanton, they're gonna see all this stuff.
I just wanna add that we don't have, what you got in that email, you know, that updated page, doesn't include branding, okay? And that would be our next step, and it's gonna cost us, I believe, we didn't, I don't know if it's in the packet, I didn't get a chance to look through it. Or do you have it from the last meeting? But I'm gonna say another 3,500 in order to get that done. But you've had a chance to see, you know, if you scroll down on there, now you come into services and all that, you know, we're gonna probably change some of them pictures too. But it's really kinda convenient to get through. And if you go on the business listings and you see the businesses that are in there, you know, we haven't got them all yet, we're working on it. But, you see a business listed there with a picture, I mean, it's kind of impressive, you know, it makes Swan look like it's, done a lot, and it does. You know, but it just brings us, I guess, more competitive with other communities. And if we don't do it, I think we're gonna get really left behind. And it's unfortunate people do, you know, use that system to learn things and communicate, but we've been fighting it for too long.
We've even got Earl to use the computer, so take that as a win.
Well, it's mostly about their phones now, right?
Yeah.
Their cars when they drive into communities, what pops up, where you go.
Yeah.
Where can I get something, yeah, what's there to do?
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's been a lot going on, you know, I really, I hope everybody agrees we should go forward to the next step of getting this branding, onto our website too, because I think that's gonna be a big thing. You know, we're still gonna, and we're putting together, a Swanton promotion budget too. You know, so that we can keep these things going, and we're not talking thousands and thousands of dollars, just enough, you know, to do the little things, like the wayfinding signs and, you know, maybe another sign for the trailhead. These kind of things, you know, they take some money, but it's not gonna break you, you know? And they make a big difference when you're driving through town.
So the last time that the three of us talked, we talked about, having Promote Swanton, funds possibly coming out of the town's general fund, because that
Yeah.
allows everybody
Yeah.
to evenly pay into doing this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then the other thing that, the Eco Pixel thing, right now we share the cost of that, correct, right? So, these updates that we've been doing, we're sharing the cost, or you guys
No,
have
we've
covered
been-
the cost?
we-
I'm just wanting to,
Okay, when we started, we finally, you know, it's been going on for a long time.
no, we have been working on it.
And we
for-
finally got a consultant, you know, to get this new branding put together. We took all that money out of our ARPA money.
Okay, and then
Okay.
the other question is, when you're saying you wanna add the branding to the website, you're meaning that new sign?
Yes.
Correct. The new
But then-
logo, the colors, the.
That's gonna be prominent on
Yeah.
the landing
Page.
page.
Yeah.
And then when they go to the town page or the village page, they're still gonna see, I'd like to call them seals, I don't know if that's
Right,
correct.
they'll still be
Okay.
there, yep, there'll still be the thing there, and there'll be our town seal and the village seal on each, you know, one on each side. And you click if you wanna go to the village, or you click if you wanna go to the town, but if you wanna go to Swanton, you just scroll down a little bit and you can find out what the heck's in Swanton. Quick and easy.
So basically, for tonight, what you're asking from the village in respects to Promote Swanton is
Yeah.
that we agree with the direction that you're taking the website.
Yeah, so-
Or Promote Swanton
Correct.
is taking the website.
And we go forward with putting the branding on the website.
Okay.
And that you guys feel comfortable in us sending out a mailer and having a brochure to continue to promote our community.
Fantastic.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just had thought of something, I mentioned this to Joel last week. And I don't think it'd be terribly expensive for us to do, but if the village wants to, they're welcome to. They got a lot more vehicles than we do, is to put our website on our vehicles.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
www.swantonvermont.gov.
I wouldn't always just do the website, and the QR code would be great too next to it. Cause that's what people are all zooming in on.
QR codes on the back.
Yeah.
So,
Well, something to consider, yes.
Yeah, yeah. People don't wanna type in www or whatever, now they just wanna point their phone at it, look at the QR code, and all the
Okay.
stuff just pops up instantaneously.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think they need to both be
I
there
think
personally.
exactly.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm
That's
saying
what you
both.
do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Earl,
It
that's what
only,
you do, you just point the phone out.
I haven't got the phone.
Like on the, if I can jump in on the back of our vehicles, if we
Yeah.
put that, like Brian suggests, the WW, because some people still do, then put the Swanton, the new symbol, it wouldn't be real big, and then put the QR code on the other side of it, whether we do it down below the doors or something, or but that way that branding also goes. It doesn't take away from our town symbol, because it would be much smaller, but it would still have that branding symbol with it. I think we should price up, getting some for our vehicles and, bring it to our board meeting.
I mean, they're using the QR code technology for everything now. Even my uncle passed away, and they're now making a permanent metallic plaque that you can put on memorial. And then when you're in the graveyard,
Yeah.
you can see all the pictures and history of that individual. It's amazing.
well.
Okay.
It only gets better. So it seems that you guys are in agreement that we should, continue to move this forward. It's really important, I think, for the community that we get caught up.
Absolutely.
Start being a little aggressive about promoting ourselves. Yes,
So I'd like to add to that, what you guys are trying to do. I think it's fantastic. I think you've come a long way from the first couple meetings that we had talking about it. I think it's wonderful. To play on some of that, taking your logo, putting it on t-shirts, making stickers, giving the local businesses an opportunity to purchase those wholesale, sell them to the general public, which is tons of LVRT traffic that are coming to Swanton. They want something to stick on their water bottle of where they ended that rail trail. I'm having tons of people from out of state that are coming in now, and they want some little memento of where they've been. But reaching out to the Vermont Department of Tourism, they put out a book every year. A page is $10,000. They've reached out to a bunch of us businesses if we wanted to go in together. I can't afford $10,000 for advertisement. But could be something that as a whole, you guys can work with tourism department and come up with some way that we can do something bigger to reach larger scale people rather than just our town website.
well, there's something there, if you have a remote slot budget, maybe some of that money be included in there, maybe we could give you a match. I understand 10,000 is hard for a business, but if you get several businesses together and we can match in funds, we might, it wouldn't be such a hit for every business.
Right, no, I don't even mean as an individual business. I mean as Swanton as a whole.
Yeah, I
If
know.
we did something one time even, or a part of a page, or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
to drive people here. We have a lot to offer. It's worth telling people about it.
Darcy brought up a good point, and Joel, you or somebody must know about they're gonna be putting signage up at the LVRT point, right?
It is up.
Parking lot.
Yeah.
So if it had the QR code and it had the web
Yeah,
address,
we're working on that.
people can where to eat in Swanton, where to,
So
whatever.
the sign is already up and the backside is empty, and that's what, once we go live on our website, we'd like to have that QR code with a map of our downtown on the back. And once the website goes live, I'll have some numbers on what the sign looks like for that, but using our branding,
Yeah.
using the map, using a QR code.
They can get to the restaurants, they can get to the specialty shops, they can get to all the different places they wanna go.
Yeah, well, they got open late, but, we'll definitely be ready for next year.
Yeah.
We'll be ready probably in another month or so if everything goes good. But,
So if the village trustees are on board with what we're going for, should we get a motion to
Yes.
move forward with
we
the
need-
branding on
on the computer, on our website, and agree to fund the amount that we saw in the EcoPico contract last meeting.
$3,375. Make the motion to do that, as stated.
Okay, you.
The $3,375.
Yeah, $3,000.
To add the branding to the
To add the
website.
branding to the website, yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
All right, your second, motion been made and seconded, is there any more discussion?
Where do you want it to come from?
Special funds, right?
Yes.
Yes, I think that's what we talked about. Okay, motion been made and seconded, is there any more discussion? Okay, if not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, so we have some other businesses, law enforcement. And I'll let Joe lead that discussion because you're more involved with the law enforcement end of it than I am.
I didn't have that put on the agenda.
I thought, Bill, you wanted to do too? Bill on law enforcement?
I think first we ought to take a vote. Show of hands if anyone's surprised Earl Fournier uses landing page, wayfinder, and QR codes in a sentence. You're pretty good. No, I thought that, Brian and I discussed it. I don't know if the boards want to discuss it. I think there's been some ongoing discussions here, Highgate, St. Albans, everywhere, about kind of the state of law enforcement. But I don't know, if it's not a discussion for today, it's not a discussion. I think what prompted it was the open discussion by your board seeking additional coverage for speed enforcement on Bushy Road and other high impact areas.
Yeah, we did have that discussion because, you know, we know you guys are short of help too, so, and, you know, we've got complaints from our citizens and, you know, we need people there during the day or early morning, you know, on a commute schedule, and we understand that it's not practical for you guys to do that with your present staff. So, you know, if we only need maybe an extra 4 or 5 hours here or there, you know, we're just trying to look at what options are available.
We'll take Billy and Mr. Nielsen out of retirement.
Yeah. Okay, Joel?
Yeah, we wanted to make it very clear at our board meeting that this is not a reflection of services that we get from the Swanton PD already. This was just trying to get some extra hours, as Earl said. And I'll tell you, even as hands tight as you guys are right now, after we mentioned some very specific things to the chief over the next week, I saw some action down on McQuam Shore trying to address, and it was right in the timeframes we talked about. And so he, even with the limited extra time that he has, took some action regarding that. The recent drug bust and all the stuff he briefed us on about, doing a great job, but we're looking for some other options to get some blue lights, doing specifically traffic control at certain hours of the day.
Yeah, and I talked to our trustees about it, and we do not take that, and the police, most importantly, the chief and the entire organization does not take that as anything to resemble dissatisfaction. In fact, our organization wholeheartedly supports you going out and seeking alternatives for speed enforcement. That might be a great fit. We cannot provide those services right now.
Well, we haven't had the discussion with the sheriff. Yeah, I guess the question's been asked, but I don't know. We haven't met face to face with him.
Has there been any communication with them since the last
My
meeting?
understanding, he's available, so, he's, we put it.
Don't look at me, where I'm.
No, I'm not, I'm just saying, I guess,
Indisposed?
right, he's not in his office, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, but it's just because of the citizens' concerns and, you know, they're legitimate concerns and you guys got a lot on your plate, you know, and maybe he's got more important jobs to do than watch speeding cars too, according to, you know, what he was telling us at our last meeting, so.
Yeah,
If I were in your position, I'd be doing the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and putting out the speed car only does so much.
Yeah.
You know, some people just look and go,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. whatever.
See how much faster they can go.
Exactly.
So, I don't know if anything will ever happen. Now that I get this report from Brian, but, you know, it's just
I think
something
we've
we
all
have to
seen
deal
it.
with.
78, any straight road through this community, the
Yeah.
people who don't have any patience that are speeding all the time is just perpetual. If you're walking, you're doing it, you're seeing it
Every morning,
every morning.
you see the speeders, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, that's the end of our discussion. Is there any other business? Yes, Neil.
Like, I'm older than you are, I think, so I'm reflecting on my age, I guess. But, in this promotion of our community, we might wanna focus a little bit on the history of the community. I mean, it's fading fast like all of us are. But, I mean, there's just a few instances in the village where historic structures have been torn down instead of reused. And there's more that's gonna happen. And I think we ought to maybe touch base with the Historical Society and see if they can add a little bit, not, I know you've got the plans right now, but we gotta get some history in there, see what's made Swanton the way it is now and how it has evolved. But,
Well, I imagine a link to the Historical Society's gotta be part of it.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put a couple old photos on the website.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, we do,
Maybe you could get some from Mr. Cheney.
yeah. Yeah, we do.
anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, oh, it's a good one though, it's a good one,
Put your picture there,
you know.
you and Earl.
They have a great walking tour
And they're
that's
short
linked on their
pants.
website for all of Swanton, for all the historical little landmarks that are worth seeing.
All right, we appreciate the input.
Motion to adjourn the village portion of this meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second for the village to exit the joint meeting with the town. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Joint meeting ended. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Welcome to stay.
It's all fantastic progress.
We'll be seeing you soon.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you.
I'll talk to you soon about the,
Landing page, come on, Earl. I wasn't looking at you. No, it's all good.
Thanks for staying, Mr. Nielsen.
All right, the next order of business is the highway department, and I don't know if you wanna give any kind of report, Joel, or do you wanna move?
Do you wanna back up?
Whoops.
Go animal control and town health.
Oh, okay, that's right. Did, she left though.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Leave that in writing.
We got it in writing. So the animal control is pretty self-explanatory.
Just as a reminder, what's the fine for an unlicensed dog?
The fine,
Yeah,
Non-registered spayed or neutered, 20 or 26.
2026.
The incident on the 29th where he's responding to that address, why is he responding to sanitation investigations?
that I don't know.
Yeah.
That's, and then what the notice from the Franklin County Sheriff, I have to talk to him about that.
The chickens at large is.
Well, there's a pending ordinance from the village, I was in the village, there's a
Oh.
pending ordinance in the village that's gonna address chickens and other animals. You have to keep them in your own property, so. But he
They're
does.
chickens, Earl. They're right over here.
Whisker and Tails is a kennel we contract with, right?
That's right.
Where is it located?
It's in, over in the island, or Grand Isle.
you're gonna let us know what this,
Yeah,
I can
what that's,
finish it up and-
what that's about. And then we've got, Susie had a report of a house and a property on, I believe it's County Road, that had a mold situation, and that's her report there.
I've just seen this, Brian, so what's the outcome of all this?
Nothing. That's what it said.
Right. Pretty much that, she brought it to the owners, this lady was a tenant, and she's, brought it to the, attention of the landlord. And then, you know, she checked back with him, she probably should have asked her before she left, but, and the electric light socket, that's a fire safety violation. So fire marshal's office.
Well, but nothing happened, it said at the end, nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's out of her jurisdiction or what.
Is that what she means by nothing follows?
Nothing followed,
I
yeah.
think she did do a letter up for Jessica to come and pick up, because there's something she can do with it.
Yeah, so is that what's on the counter?
Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't picked it up.
She hasn't picked it up yet.
So what's our duty in this? Just to accept this report or follow up or?
Not sure 100% of the health officer's responsibilities.
Yeah, she's done the report, she's done a letter for Jessica, and then there's.
Jessica.
The resident
The resident.
that made the complaint.
And I believe then it's, she probably in that letter is where she needs to file the complaint.
Yeah.
She files the complaint.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it ought to be somewhere in here that she has provided the tenant with a letter of direction or something like that. Because this is kind of like just hanging there. So that would bring it to a conclusion that,
But that probably happened after you initially got the pictures, or?
Well, I got those, I think maybe the same day she came in. She flew in my office and dropped this in.
That was Monday, right? It was Monday
think
she
so.
came in.
Well, that
Last
was
Monday.
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
So she's gonna be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll grab her and ask her
Yeah.
what's going on.
so we'd keep a copy of that for our file, that letter? That Susie's gonna write, or,
She keeps a record of it.
She keeps a
She
record.
keeps all the records as a health officer.
I'm sorry?
I think she keeps all the records as a health officer.
Okay, so there is evidence that there's been action taken,
Right.
okay, all right.
And see, you as the board at this point don't really have anything to do unless you have to convene as the Board of Health. If somebody failed to do what was done, then, you know, then there's.
She keeps it to the state.
Okay, is that it for law enforcement?
That's it.
Okay, then we can do highway. Now, do you have something, Joel, you want to report from the department?
Significant, I talked with Kevin today. The one thing regarding Brooklyn Street, which I talked about at the last meeting, is the last agreement with a property owner was made, and so now we're ready to start work and finally get that culvert in and get the storm drain out of the village sewer system. So that's the only update as far as highway, unless somebody has some specific questions.
And all the property owners sign on that, Joel?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. So Kevin's gonna go down and clear some of the area, take a few shots so we can figure out the best way to put the culvert in and get the project rolling, get it done this fall and move on.
Okay, so I guess the next issue is the road takeover.
We got orders.
Oh,
Number 6.
oh, we gotta do expenditures, okay, all right, and we'll do the orders first. And these are dated September 17th, 2025 to October 21st, 2025. And general orders are up first.
I'd make the motion that we accept the general orders in the amount of $199,000, $297.72.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Does anybody have any questions or discussion?
Yeah, the number on the front page doesn't match the number in the back.
Are you kidding me? 192.
It's
Oh,
192, 297
yeah.
in the back.
So less money.
You wanna amend that, Steve, 192,000?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's quite a bit less.
7,000.
So the lower amount's the right one?
Yep, 192, 297, 72.
I'd make a motion that we accept that amount.
Second.
All right. Motion's been made again for the corrected amount. Any more discussions or questions? No, come on, I didn't really have anything. Alright. Then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one is the highway, 771,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the highway orders of $771,952.16.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions?
I've got a couple things. The LVRT electrical I see on there, that's probably a bill for the electrical, Kathy.
Yes.
That, I think, in the future should be coming under general. I think the LVRT is a parking area, is a recreational facility. And I know it's gonna be an increase in the general for next year, I mentioned last
It's okay, I meant to
meeting
ask you where to put it, and every time it comes to pay, and I wanted to get the orders done, so I can just make adjustments for that.
I mean, for $7.92, it's not gonna throw the highway off this time. We're gonna get a sewer bill, a water sewer bill, an electrical, and the next ones that come in. For this year, I don't even care if they get paid out of the money we put aside to build the trail, because we never budgeted for them. But for 2026, I think those items need to come under the general fund.
Yeah, I concur with that, Joel. That's part of some of the discussion we had tonight.
Yeah, that's true. But again, we don't need to change it as far as approving this one.
Right,
No.
right.
Just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there any more discussion on the highway order? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next one's library. For $13,543.12.
I'll make a motion to approve the library orders for $13,543.12.
Second.
All right, motion been made and seconded for the highway orders, not the highway, the library orders. Are there any questions or discussion? Now, I have just a question, maybe don't have to do with the amount, but, did they get that sump pump stuff straightened out yet?
Not yet. Still I have to get after them again tomorrow. They have not, I've asked for the quote, I said as soon as possible, and get it scheduled, and nobody answered back to the email, so I'll get after this guy's boss again.
Well, I don't know, but it seems like you've been having a lot of trouble with that company.
Well, that end of it, yeah, the other side's been fine. I don't know what's going on there, but.
But that's, getting to be an expensive issue, and it should be corrected.
Yeah. Well,
And is there any other issues that did happen too? Wasn't there something else about the library?
no,
was it, just the pump?
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now it's payroll for the highway in general. For $41,944.46.
I'll make a motion to accept the highway and general payroll orders in the amount of $41,944.46.
Second.
Alright, motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Then we got library payroll for the amount of $10,159.09.
I'll make a motion to approve the library payroll orders for $10,159.09.
Second.
Alright, motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the payroll orders for the library? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, then we got special funds for the amount of $212,413.11.
I think it's 214,000.
What's
On the
that?
back page.
Did I do it again?
Yeah,
212.
212.
Oh, wait, 212.
Put the numbers again.
This is front page right here, that says 212 to me.
212.
Oh, right here is, oh, that's just.
It's right on the cover sheet. It's
Cover
not
sheet
right
is
on this cover sheet.
Oh, that one? Oh, that one.
Okay, we gotta clarify that.
What you said is really thorough.
Alright,
212,413.11.
okay, so that's, most of that money is gonna get reimbursed back to the town, isn't it?
80% of it.
80% of it, yeah. And the majority of it is for the rail trail.
So I'll make a motion to accept the special orders in the amount of $212,000, $212,413.11. Anybody need a nap?
Second.
Okay, the motion been made and seconded for the special orders. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. So now we can go on to, we got updates on the Railroad Museum.
Other than, I did meet last week with Patrick Thursday morning. He's to get me an estimate. And he says that about 2 to 4 hours worth of work at maximum, he should have it buttoned up. But I did not receive the estimate. I'll have to get after him tomorrow. See where he stands with it.
The grant's been applied for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Next one is LVRT update.
A couple of things real quick, the metal for the roofing, some of that did get put on today, but depending on the weather, all the metal is now here. Hopefully get that thing buttoned up at the latest next week. There are a few punch list items out there, working with the contractor on that. One thing I wanted to get a head nod today, but again, it's not gonna cost us very much because it's a 20/80 split, is I got a quote for a camera. It's a 4-headed camera that give you different looks at the trail, and it'll feed into the village camera system that they have. So they will be recording it. I talked with the village manager and he said, no problem. It's $4,200. It's the same contractor that they use installing their cameras. So I think we should get that done. It's within my dollar limit range, but I wanted to bring it up to the board. I think we should do it. And I talked with the guy from the state from a reimbursement standpoint, and he said, yeah, no problem. And then, go ahead.
So we haven't spent all the money that we set aside for the trail,
No,
even with all the work that's done now.
we set aside an amount to cover a bid closer to 600 something thousand. So yes, we have extra monies in there right now. We have 145,000 that we set aside for this whole project, including the design and so on, and we will have some of that money left over when it's all done. Got a little bit of a curveball from the state fire chief, one of his office out of Williston, telling us we needed to have a construction permit because it is a public building. So we have submitted a permit application, cost us $600 something, which again, it's a 20/80 split. You know, hard to believe they're gonna make us do a permit for a pavilion from a fire prevention standpoint, but talked with this folks from AOT, and right now they say just go ahead and get the permit submitted and we'll help fight it if there's some issues with it, but just let you know that's out there.
Joel, I'll add,
Yes.
I got a call today from the Division of Fire Safety. They received the package that I sent them
Okay,
for the permit. They didn't know where to go with it. So I gave them the name of the individual who sent us the email. Oh, okay, she said, so it's getting processed.
okay, it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. And then one thing, we don't need any answers tonight, but at one of our meetings, we should discuss who's gonna cut the grass and who's gonna be responsible for looking at the buildings and say, hey, this needs to be done and so on. I really think, and I haven't even talked to Nicole about it, but again, no decision tonight, but I think it's basically a recreation facility. And then think it should be under their budget. And that's, again, it's for discussion later on because it's just being thrown out there tonight, but it's something we got to be thinking about because it's our facility now.
If I remember correctly, the plowing of the trail was something that we were gonna discuss when it got closer to winter. Who's in charge of it?
I think the highway could buzz through and do the plowing because they're going to be on that road anyway. I'm thinking more of whether there's a little bit of shoveling or something that maybe needs to be done.
Yeah,
And then the mowing of the lawn.
flowers in the summer.
I'm not opposed to bringing that in before the rec board. The only thing is transporting our equipment. We'd have to drive it right down the rail trail. We don't have any trailers or vehicles to move our things from from our facility anywhere. They don't fit in my Mini Cooper.
I think, I think it's the town's decision of whether you can bring maintenance equipment down the rec trail, not the LVRT. So I think you would be fine there. And we actually have to sometimes bring our equipment highway when they've been doing some removal of wood and so on in there, trees and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's a future discussion.
Yep. I just bring it out to get the thought process going.
Yep.
That's all I have, unless anyone's got any questions.
All right, the MVSD land swaps.
Okay. Well, to make a long story short, there was a mortgage deed on that property that was, Mr. Rowell had borrowed money from, I think Ag Ventures or some company that merged with Farm Credit East.
Farm Credit East.
Okay, Farm Credit East, of course, has no record of that because they merged with them. So, but the lady from Farm Credit East said that she needed to have a discharge done. Common occurrence what happens is that it was paid off, they discharged the mortgage deed was sent to the customer, never brought in here to get discharged. We ran into this many times in the bank.
Pretty common.
So she says she can't do a statutory discharge because she doesn't have the information. I gave her the information. So then she's having Jess Bugby's office do that discharge. The last correspondence I had was from the paralegal at Mr. Bugby's office saying, well, they don't have a mortgage on it, so there's nothing to discharge. Wrong. This is what you need to do. So I have she didn't reply back to my email. I'm calling Brian Rowell. I attempted to get him today to say he needs to get hold of Jess Bugby and tell them to get a mortgage discharge that company.
And we're not gonna incur any expense here, are we?
No,
No,
it's
we
his
shouldn't.
expense.
Yeah.
Because this, if he has the property for sale, this will come back and, again, this will never go away, it has to be discharged. I would think people would know that.
It's a simple task.
Yeah,
You
but that's,
pay once.
yeah.
Well, you'll continue to follow up on
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Sounds like it's getting you pretty excited, good. All right, now we move on to Richard Cummings, Jerry Mill Lane takeover. Mr. Cummings? Yes, sir. Come up closer if you want.
All right. You take care of my pride money.
I will, thank you.
You take it again, Mr. Cummings.
Rather than checks.
Well,
So I'm here to find out where you are with your take on the takeover of the road.
we ain't really had a discussion since the last time you were here, but I'll let Joel take the lead on this, he's highway commissioner.
Yeah, we received the letter, which is part of our road takeover policy. I was handed out to everybody last week, our last meeting, and I asked people to take a look and see if you had any concerns or not, and whether we're gonna go forward with this. From a road commissioner standpoint, at tonight's meeting, I was gonna say there's a few things I would like to get clarification from the engineer. He did provide a letter. So that letter was part of the package that Mr. Cummins submitted. I've got a few questions that I will put together, but I wanted to see where the board's take is, if they're happy with the information provided so far. We've got the issue of the road construction, and then we've got the issue we've got to go down, talk about is the whole stormwater piece of it. So that's where I'm at.
So you're gonna put this in writing back to Mr. Cummings, Joel?
Yes.
Your thoughts, okay.
Just to find out if there's more information you need, or?
Yeah, so just a couple of questions for Peter. And nothing too serious, but I did that letter, if we're gonna have on record, from Peter, there's a couple of questions I wanna ask about, like what the material was used for the aggregate, that sort of thing, so it actually, is on record. Anyway. And then,
Yes.
then the board can take a look at that and see if they're happy with that. We gotta have all the board members comfortable with what we got going on.
Well, we overbuilt. I hope that means something. With the Marify and the sand cushion. They're not recommended anymore. I mean, unless you're in clay or really wet conditions.
So Joel, how soon would you have your letter out to Mr. Mazurek?
I would do it through Richard, but it would be next week.
Okay.
If the board is ready for us to move ahead with this, then I will have something to them next week.
Well, I'm a little concerned that we're gonna totally rely on the engineer's verification, because that's not what we required in the past. If you're gonna ask one applicant for core samples, you're gonna have to ask everybody.
It's a board decision. The asking for core samples took place before we had a road takeover policy.
The road takeover policy doesn't tell us how we determine how the road was built to our specs. So we've set a precedent.
Oh, may I speak?
Go ahead.
Our first contact with the select board was on November 11th of 2020. And the, basically what this says is to build it to the A76 standards. And this is a letter we sent to James Gilmet, he was on the chair at the time. And A76 standards, then, if you read it, it says that it's
I read it,
recommended.
okay, yeah, I know,
It's
I
not
know what it said.
specified. And then later on, in different years, we've got different policy for the road as the years go on, and you know, I just.
Yeah, well, we've been through this, and, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we basically said that core samples are the way we're gonna verify our roads. Even though it's not in writing, but we don't have anything else in writing either.
But if
But action was took that way, so how can you not do it again? It's not fair to.
On the other hand, I've been at this since 2020.
I understand all that,
And-
it's not, it wasn't my decision.
And that's an ongoing
Yep,
issue.
yep.
And you should be going back to those standards, to build it to those standards. You have your crushed stone, your finished stone, and your pavement.
So, but there's 4 other members on the board, so
To help
that's
me-
their decision to make.
Help me here, Earl, are you suggesting that we validate all of what Mr. Mazurek has told us and what Rick has told us by doing core samples?
Yep,
Is that what we've done in the past?
yep, well, so we did on the last road.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna need those core samples, especially since what we did with the last road, yeah. We're gonna have to go by what the core sample said.
so that's a validation process.
Well, it's not in writing, and I don't think it's a good policy, but, you know, it's what we did.
Last year for you're the one who actually made the motion to take the core samples.
Well,
It's right in our records.
okay, so then that's what, you know, I can't treat another applicant different than the other one. And-
Ideally, we see this, how the road's built when it's being constructed. The issue is these roads are constructed and now they're coming to us. So if that's what the board's gonna decide we're gonna do on all of them, then, we add that to our policy of, putting core samples.
The engineer was there before pavement to observe the crushed stone. And,
Yeah, I understand.
that was done properly.
But that wasn't acceptable before, so it really shouldn't be acceptable now. Wasn't, you know, I might not agree with it, but that's what we have to do.
Theoretically, the A76 is a gravel road.
But that's only my opinion, like I say, I mean, it's really up to the other members of the board.
Or have we established a precedent? If we have.
I think we
Everybody
have.
shaking heads. Right?
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay.
But did those people, when did they build their road to what standard?
Said A76, exceeded A76, the engineer said. But the core samples didn't show that.
They didn't.
No, no.
So what do we do?
I'm curious too.
I mean, if you got 2 options, take the road over if everything's, done, stormwater and all that stuff. Or we'll take the road over and after the core samples are taken, if they meet our standards. And everything else is done. Same thing we did before.
Yep. And yeah, we just need to get everything else done and get those core samples.
So are we saying that we'll accept
So you're saying it means nothing to have started this 5 years ago, do your standards, then you move the goalposts, go to a new standard, we fortunately met that, and you go on, and I don't know where this is gonna stop. Tomorrow, is it gonna be another policy, another
Yeah,
standard?
because we really don't have a policy that says who's responsible for what when a developer wants a road taken over. We don't have it in writing. We only have what we require, what our specifications are.
Yeah, but I don't know if you should keep moving the goalposts like that.
Well, I don't think there were any goalposts ever established. It was
Well, yeah,
basically what board you went to, you know?
I've got papers of the board.
I know, but it's a different
This is the
board.
policy,
Yeah.
I know, but
I understand the frustration.
I'm dealing with
I
the
do,
town.
but it's up to the board to make the decision. You know?
Right, obviously, precedent over time becomes policy, because it'll be adopted in our minutes and whatever, so if we have to ask Mr. Cummings to provide core samples to validate what his engineer has stated in his letter, then, and if we're gonna be consistent going forward, I guess that's easier to understand.
I haven't heard from you, Nicole.
I mean, I do feel that we have a precedent and that moving forward, we should probably require that since now we have set a precedent.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should go forward and make a decent policy that some other towns have. You know, we don't have to rewrite the wheel, reinvent the wheel, we can take the things that they do and put it into our policy, and, you know, we'd have something that everybody would know who is responsible for what.
I mean, that, maybe we do need to relook at it again, I don't know.
I'm hearing, and it's something we can change in ours, if we're taking over an existing road, that we're gonna require core changes, or core samples from everybody. That's what I'm hearing from folks.
Well, it should be, you know, because it's been done, you can't go from, take a different approach on each road, because that's gonna cause a lot of commotion.
Yeah, that's a clarification that can be put in there, that's, you know, something that could have been, talked about when we approved the road policy, road takeover policy.
But I think other than that, besides the core samples, it looks like this road, you know,
Yeah.
pending the core samples meets all of the other requirements, and then we could move forward.
Yeah. I agree.
So are we telling Mr. Cummings that we'll accept his letter pending validation of course, by core samples of the composition of the road?
We need to, after we do that, Steve, we've gotta get the, stormwater issues worked before we accept that road.
Yeah. But it says in his letter that they've already got their association and they've got an agreement with the state on stormwater, so, and we're supposed to be co-applicants. Says it right in the letter, so I mean, they probably already got a lot of work done, we'll have to make sure it's done, but it looks like they are already planning on that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't signed any or seen any legal paperwork, they're planning on it, I'm just saying that's gonna take a little while. It's
Yeah.
not just contingent on the core samples.
Yeah.
It just takes us the next step further in, going down this road.
Well, I think if we're gonna ask them to do that, then we pretty much gonna commit to taking over the road, unless there's some kind of legal issue with the stormwater permit or the core samples don't meet our standards.
Well,
We got two separate issues. I think we got the composition of the road and then we have the stormwater issue. So I think the composition of the road can be solved by getting the core samples.
Yep.
And then the stormwater permit, who validates that? Who's the validation party for that?
we gotta work with the state, we gotta work with the homeowners association in the state to get the permit, become a co-op, gonna be in a letter of agreement that was talked about, and gonna be a co-applicant or co-permittee, I guess is a proper term. We haven't done this before, so this is new ground.
Yeah. But there is in our road takeover policy, there is two paragraphs, I think, dealing with that.
Yes. Yep.
Tab number 3 in your book, in case you wanted to look at it.
What's that?
It's tab number 3 in the book.
Oh,
in case you
okay.
wanted to read them.
Yeah, you got this, it's right in that new manual, right there, tab number 3. Well, I don't know, I mean, does somebody wanna make a motion to that effect? And, that way Richard will know what he's gotta do.
Well, are you gonna cover this, Joe? You mentioned you were gonna send an update with a couple of concerns. Are these the concerns that you were referencing?
That would answer those questions, yes.
Okay, so why don't we wait till we get Joel's letter communicated to Rich, and we take action on it?
Well, okay, but
If you're all gonna require the core, then just make that motion to require the core, if that's what if that's what the majority wants.
yeah, so he can get moving on it, because they finally get this done. It's been dragging for a long time.
Yeah.
So, that's where we are. Or you can just, we can do that and not require the core.
Yeah, I think we should be consistent, out of respect for Rick. He's done everything we've asked, and I hate to throw another.
Oh, I do too.
But I think we have to be consistent.
I mean, it's just because we did that before, I mean, Jesus, it's hard not to do it again, and, if somebody comes in here, what are you gonna tell them?
So, at this point, we would put this on, we would suspend any action until we have a report of the condition of the road by core samples and further verification from the state that all the stormwater permits are
Well,
in place.
maybe we should just say that, we won't take any further action on this until the core samples are done. But when they do, once the core samples are done, if they meet our standards and the road conditions are acceptable, then we'll move on to the next step.
Or can we do both of them at the same time, get the stormwater permit, settle our information there and the core samples at the same time?
Well, if it's,
Because the way the policy is written is there's going to need to be an agreement drafted to suffice those stormwater permits. So there's two parts, making sure that the state is acceptable to us being a co-permittee, and then having that agreement in place before we can move forward with deciding whether or not we want to take over the road.
Can we do these concurrently? I guess that's my. Karen?
I would think you could.
Yeah,
I mean,
same
it's
story for Rick.
done. The homeowners association is all formed and everything. Okay, and as the permit, stormwater permit has been transferred to this homeowners
Yes.
association, and we're on there as a co-permittee?
No.
Okay, that's what needs.
I thought it said that in that letter, didn't it?
Said would be.
Oh, it would be.
It would be,
So we
yeah.
need to
Okay.
be.
So as part of the application, the agreement noted needs to have the permit application included, so I guess in part of,
We're fine with that because it really doesn't impact the award,
well, so,
Right.
I guess what I'm saying is part of what our policy states is there needs to be an agreement for us to say that we're taking over the road in regards to that stormwater permit with your homeowners association. So
That'll really be contingent on the core samples. At that point in time, that's when we would, take that step.
Yeah, I would encourage the core samples as step one.
Yeah.
Before money is spent, and then we already say in our agreement that it's not at our cost, coming up with the agreement and coming up with the permit, the co-permittee application and so on with the state. I wouldn't think the homeowners association would want to spend that money till we said the core samples were okay.
Yep.
And I would encourage the board also, besides core samples, is the board might want to go up and take a look at that road and take a look at the drainage and so on.
So, let's take action on the first motion, and that is that we're going to require core samples to ensure compliance with the composition that's required under A76 standards. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
All right, so that's the motion you wanna make.
I just made it. Yep.
Okay, does anybody wanna second it?
I'll second.
All right, the motion been made and seconded. Is there any more to require the core samples? Is there any more discussion?
To require the core samples, do we require a site visit?
I didn't hear it all, Joe.
Site visit, should we require a site visit?
Yeah, and a site visit by the select board. Do you wanna do that as a board, or do you want the motion to say select board members can go at their own pleasure? Or should
That's up to
go?
you. That's up to the majority, I think all the board members should go look at it, focus on, it's fun.
Together or individually?
I think together,
Together.
I think together.
All right, so then we'll have to probably schedule that, sometime here in the near, pretty soon. I don't know if we could leave like start a meeting a half an hour early and go.
Yeah, running into daylight problem.
Oh, that's right, it'd be dark, won't it, pretty soon, that's why I got to do it right off, yeah.
Well,
You
yeah,
have to
I'm
do
sure
it.
I can do my end quickly.
Yeah. Not unless we want to have a special noon meeting and go there, meet there at noon. You go to Mother Hubbard's, have lunch.
You got the good morning in your house?
You do a noon meeting.
Do a new meeting? Do you want to pick a day now, or do you want to wait and,
I think Wednesdays are better for Nick, right?
Yeah, Wednesdays are good for me.
Wednesdays are good for you?
I'm available tomorrow.
I won't be available next Wednesday, and,
So then you're on to November 5th, November 12th. November 5th is after our meeting, our first meeting of the month, and then the 12th is before our second meeting of the month.
Rule of fifth.
Oh, something's else going on the 12th, that meeting, the village.
any Wednesday good for you?
Any Wednesday should be.
Fifth will work, Nicole?
Yep.
Looks like it'll, down here it'll work. You good with it, Joe?
Good.
Okay, so we'll schedule that meeting for November 5th.
That's a nooner?
What?
That's a noon time?
Yes.
At a new time, whatever. And the board will, do you want the board to meet at Mr. Cummings Road?
Yes.
Joe,
Jerry Miller.
Jerry, or do you want us to meet somewhere else and go to, maybe as a couple vehicles?
So we got a noon time, we have a meeting that evening on November 4th.
Yeah, so you
So,
better,
but we're also gonna have a noon time
No, this
meeting?
is on
No, November 5th.
November 5th.
November 5th is the noontime meeting,
We can,
November 5th.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday the 5th.
November 5th is our next board meeting.
No,
No,
November
November
4th.
November
is.
4th is the next board meeting.
Yeah,
Just ask.
Get too many dates in there, Steve.
And November
month's
November
going in
5th
the
at noon time is going.
Now we're talking November 5th for the noon time.
we could meet
Okay.
at Mother Hubbard's.
You wanna meet at well, we probably shouldn't leave our vehicles, because they're pretty busy at noon time,
They
I'll tell
are.
you.
Let's just meet right at the site. They
Yeah.
got a nice roundabout there.
Okay, we're all, that's what we were asking, and what we're going, so everybody will meet at the site at noon time, and you will post, do the proper legal, so we're covered.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Alright.
alright, some progress.
Right.
So that was the discussion, we still got to vote on it.
Okay, so that's a discussion, alright, now the motion's been made, to do the core samples, and,
To require that.
and require that the select board do a site visit on November 5th at noon, and all board members have to provide their own transportation. So, yes.
okay,
All those in favor?
Aye.
all
Alright.
right.
Okay, motion carried,
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, new town business, personnel policy and ordinance binder, I hope we don't have to look through that whole thing tonight.
Get reading.
Okay,
Here's your table of contents for it, take one and pass along, please.
oh, you got more. This is supposed to be in there?
It goes, it's the first page,
It goes in the clear, See like
Oh, it
this?
goes right in here, oh,
Making you work for it.
oh my God, I
Oh,
ain't
you
gonna
gotta
ever
help.
be able to do that, I ain't got enough fingers to do that.
Come here, Roger.
Oh, you're spoiling me.
Okay, this is gonna be dated somewhere, I'm sure.
David.
We never.
Oh, that's right, these are all the updated policies are included there,
These are
up
the
to date.
current ones.
Yeah,
They're all
current.
current.
And they're, each policy is dated, this is just a table of contents.
Okay, so the dates they were adopted are there,
Correct.
okay.
It's just for you.
Anything you got to add, Joe?
I think, what we did here is we put them all together, Christina did, and then we sat down, Christina and I, and tried to look at what months to review these so that we're doing what we talked about quite a while ago, is getting on a schedule to review these things. Some of them we're just gonna say, good as is, let's just move on, and some of them we may say, maybe we ought to change a word or two, and then maybe there'll be one or two, we'll look at it and say, you know what, we don't need that anymore. Times have changed. They wrote one or two of these very specifically for some issues that don't really apply, so. At the idea.
Schedule one for a meeting, next meeting, schedule one policy to, to have the board review before our next meeting.
Did she pass out schedule, proposed
She's getting it right now.
Oh,
Christina went to
oh,
get
so
it.
you do have a schedule?
Well, she's waiting, sign the orders and pass them down.
Yeah. So
We got
calm down.
like a two-year schedule, so if everyone's in agreement, we just start following a schedule and look at them.
Yeah, good idea.
I agree.
So they have to be reviewed every 2 years?
Reviewed.
Let's see the schedule first.
There's a 2-year schedule to review. With this
This is a good job.
plan of attack.
Yep.
Okay, Nick. Your pen getting hot yet, is it?
No, not yet.
Well, then I guess, we'll be getting a schedule. We got a, she's coming.
Christina's handing it out
Okay.
right now.
And that will be on our agenda for our next meeting, if it's in the schedule, I don't know, if it's on the schedule.
I think a schedule is a great way for
Yeah.
the town administrators to keep us.
Yep. Otherwise it won't get done.
To be part of the agenda building, to take a look at that list and, get people to, take a look at the policy and have any concerns.
Yeah, we're already behind, aren't we?
Yeah.
So do you wanna do the cash receipts and petty cash next meeting? Or do you wanna just go with the November meeting one?
Just catch up. There's only one or two, right? We're behind.
Well, no, we'd be 3 behind if we do the November one in November.
Let's not rush these so we can pay attention to them. I mean, if we're a little behind, that's fine.
Well, let's do.
We're a lot farther ahead than we used
But
to be.
we've already reviewed these. We reviewed these in August. We reviewed.
did?
Yeah.
Okay. The dog ordinance, we didn't raise the fee, did we?
No, that's being
No,
rewritten,
that's
everything's
not-
being
It's
rewritten.
being,
The fee is,
Changed.
the fee is removed by the state.
State.
So health and safety is the new one, and that's the one we have, that's being written.
Which is gonna end up being into two different things, but we're gonna write the health and safety, then we're gonna have to do public assembly.
It's all spelled
But
wrong.
that's, the public assembly, the village is probably gonna have to do their own. The health and safety will be full ordinance for the town and village together.
So we might just as well do budgets and personnel policy next in November. And wait for that other one to get written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you wanna switch then?
Which meeting you wanna do, first or second? What's your thoughts, Joe? First or second meeting,
Well, let's do it for the first meeting.
okay?
We should, then we're gonna be in the budgets here pretty soon, so.
Yep.
That's a good job though.
Yep.
Brings it, puts order in it.
So everyone have a copy of the current policy, so something to take a look at and have your thoughts on, what we should be doing to change it.
All right, so that'll be part of our agenda next meeting.
Yep.
Right, we almost to the end, yeah, correspond, oh, any other necessary business? Hear none, public comment. Oh, everybody left? Nobody's on the screen. So I guess we can go up to upcoming events.
Thursday, October 23rd, 2025 will be a DRB meeting at 6 p.m. at the town offices. Not listed on here, but October 25th will be Halloween in the park. The event is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce and will go from 5 to 7 p.m. Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 will be a select board meeting at 6 p.m. Saturday, November 8th, 2025 we'll set up for the veteran flags at 9 a.m. Meet here at Academy Street. Monday, November 10th, 2025 will be a planning commission meeting at 5 p.m. here at the town offices. And Tuesday, November 11th, 2025 is the Veterans Day holiday office, and operations are closed.
Okay, there is an issue for executive session, a legal issue.
Legal issue. I can make the motion. I move that we enter executive session for the select board to receive confidential contract, personnel, legal, real estate, or real estate information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I move that based on our just made findings that the premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage, we enter executive session.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded that we enter executive session for the final time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We are in executive session. Are we gonna go in there?